All right, I'll clean up the language.
What's that?
I said, all right, I'll clean up the language.
Oh no. No, you're good. You're good. Uh, okay. So I think I shared the right screen. Let me know if I haven't. I hadn't. So today's training is going to be for book number 5, Hair Love. And interesting thing about this book is it was originally a Pixar or
Hmm.
or Sony Animations uh, computer generated animated short, which we might have won. Oh, it did. Uh, Probably, well, at least the creator won an Academy Award. And but the book itself is a New York Times bestseller. So that's pretty cool. Uh, Slightly different from the animated short, but the themes and the plot and the major points were shared between the book and the animated short, which I thought was really interesting. Um, so so the story itself, it talks about this young girl named Zuri and her father as they prepare for what seems to be a special occasion. It's something that she circled on her calendar. We were not told what it was, but she really wanted to look her best um, for this special occasion. But the problem is, looking her best also includes doing her hair, and she tried to do it herself, but it was very difficult. So her father, um, who had been up and tired lately, it seemed, said woke up or came into the bathroom and said, "Hey, why don't I help you with your hair?" And of course, she was a little bit skeptical. She was like, "Are you sure, Dad, you can do this? You never helped me with my hair before."
Dads do hair too. It's a
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Guys and dads can do hair too, but she was definitely skeptical. Unfortunately, she was a little right. Zuri's dad is clueless. He struggled, massively trying to deal with her hair. And then Zuri's hair is very special. And then as we see in the book, it has, in fact, it was almost a character in the animated short. I think they did hit on it a little bit on the book. They said that, during rainy days, it would frizz up and would be very, unmanageable. So Dad quickly finds out that it's not a cakewalk, and he's probably over his head. But he persevered. He kept trying, even though he really got beat up literally in the animated in the animated short. He got beat up. He was like in a ring. The hair was, larger than life. But he persevered. Zuri, despite how initially she didn't trust him, she made sure that that she, okay, Dad, I trust you. Go ahead and do it. So with the help of a video that was from their mom, which had been strangely absent, right? Which kind of implies there's a reason why mom isn't available. So a little bit of implication there. But the dad watched the video that mom made of actually helping with the hair. He was able to walk his absent wife was able to walk him through helping with her hair with Zuri's hair. And in the end, he was able to do the hair. And Zuri was very happy. She was very particular. Not, Dad was trying to half, what it in the beginning, but she would have none of that. But he was successful. And then, Mom that had been, who had been absent this whole time, in the book, she walks in through the door, and then we find out why she had been absent. Her head has been shaved, kind of implying that she's going through a sickness and she's probably going through chemotherapy. In the animated short, the two of them actually visit her in hospital, and that's what we realize. Oh, the special day is actually Zuri and Dad visiting Mom, who had been absent, but luckily, fortunately, not permanently absent, right? It's only but she was going through a hard time. But in the end, they all had a mini family reunion, and then and a very, very happy ending, unexpectedly a happy ending. So the themes, right, of this book are self-acceptance, particularly the hair itself is very unique, right, for Zuri, right? She doesn't have straight hair, right? And that's exactly why it was so difficult for Zuri's dad to tackle and then do the hair. Even if it hadn't been very, very difficult hair to work with anyways, he probably never done. He doesn't seem like he has ever done hair before, so it would have been difficult anyways, right? But the fact that that it was touched upon in the book implicitly, when you're reading this book, you can point that out, right? Hey, Bipudi, how's it going? Welcome to the training. So, so this is a good point to point out. This is a good place to point out the hair is different because African American hair, it is not straight, right? This is one of the reasons. I mean, one of the things we would talk about diversity, right? Not everybody has straight hair. Not everyone has black hair, right? So this is celebrating Zuri's diversity. This is celebrating and recognizing there's diversity, right, in hair, right? And then this is about self-love and personal empowerment because historically, of course, I don't think we would point this out in a TKK class, but historically, that type of hair might not be celebrated, right? And this is why we want to point out that there's a difference here, right? But it's no less beautiful and no less natural, right? And this is inclusivity, right? And individual differences, right? And the resilience part is pretty straightforward too. Like dad could have quit. He could have said, nope, you're going, and he wanted to, right? He wanted to half-heartedly, I'm gonna use that word, half-heartedly do the hair. But Zuri, he could have just left it that way, but Zuri was disappointed. So he was scrappy, and then he powered through it, and then he made it work because he knew that it was so important to Zuri, right? So that highlights the bond between the father and daughter, and how they're supporting each other. They know that they are going through a difficult time, especially dad. Dad's probably tired because he's doing double shift, right? With mom not around, right? Of course, this also implies this is challenging what is traditional gender roles, right? Even though I would argue it might not be as strong today as it was 10, possibly 20 years ago, right? Definitely 20 years ago. That dad is typically not helping at home, right? And mom is helping at home. So we're saying that dads, like just like you pointed out, Ryan, dads can do it too, right? Yeah. So conversation starters. Give me one sec. Okay. No problem, Bulidi, you're listening in. Okay, I just want to check our chat to make sure I'm not missing anything. Also, let me do a quick look and see if anyone else is. Okay. I don't think anyone is waiting in the waiting room. Okay. Okay, moving along. So conversation starters, as usual, we can use, there's a video available on the YMCA learning materials. It's with the puppet. I won't play the video. If you want to utilize the puppet in your TK or K class, you may do so. But the idea is the puppet has a conversation with the parent in the class, where they talk about how the puppet's fur looks so, quote unquote, different, right? And this is because, and then we basically talk about diversity and acceptance, that the fur might be different from, from another animal, from another puppet, from the parent itself, but it's what makes our puppet unique. All the students inside of our class, we might have different skin color, we may have different hair, right? We might dress differently, we might like different foods, we might celebrate different holidays, but we're all students at Williams, right? and everyone is unique, and that's what makes everybody so special, right? Okay. So aside from the puppet, there is something called beautiful textures. This is where we would like to talk about, again, on the theme of uniqueness is beautiful, but equally valuable. So this is when you would bring in several objects from home. You can bring things with like such as stone, bark, some piece of fabric. You can find a ball of yarn somewhere. But the point is you would select objects with different textures, colors, and feel. And then you would hold up each item in front of the class one by one, and you would describe what color is the rock, right? What color is the bark? You know, is this brown? Is it black? And more importantly, how does it feel? Right? What's the texture? Is it soft like yarn? Is it smooth like fabric? Is it rough, right? Like bark? Is it hard, right? Like the rock and the stone, right? So, but you want to point out each and every one of these objects and textures and colors. They're different. They're unique, right? They even though they're all different, though they're all neutral. They're neither good or bad, right? Nor bad. So they're all special and beautiful. Okay. So just like they're different and they're wonderful, but they're also necessary, right? It's what makes all of these objects part of our world, right? Our uniqueness, the uniqueness of the students make up our community, our class, right? So hair, our voices, our ideas make us all beautiful and complete. This book is very, very colorful. I'm going to try to show you the book. So I'm not going to play the video, but you can see that it's a very, very beautifully illustrated book. From the cover to each of the illustrations, not to knock the mayor's books. This is more much more colorful and is a lot more fun to read, I think. You can see it's very colorful. You can see the texture, and it's this sparkling in her hair, in Zuri's hair. So when you're before you read the book, this is a great book, really, really a great book to go over and point out the illustrations beforehand, right? Just as I mentioned before, the textures of her hair, the expressions in their faces, right? For example, the cat, but you can see that the hair changes. This is a great point to point out. The hair changes depending on the weather, right? And the situation. Let us see. There is Dad right there. He looks exhausted, right? You can ask the students or point out to the students that he looks exhausted. Let me look for one that he looks exasperated. Right here, he's trying to do the hair, and then the rubber band on one of Zuri's sides of her hair hits him in the face. Where does he look defeated? Okay, see right here, he's hugging her. You can point out that either during the pre-read or during while you're reading, that's obvious that there's bond between them two. And this is him Dad successfully doing the hair. And here's Mom, I believe, coming back from the hospital. Where is she? Okay, here she is. And then this explains where she's been. It's up to you whether or not you want to explain why she might be absent, right? I don't remember if I don't recall if they explicitly point out where she's been, right? But her hair's wrapped here. It's ambiguous whether or not, right? It's unclear whether or not where she has been. But yeah, it's a great book to do a pre-read. Okay, so ask questions like, what do you think this book will be about based on the pictures, right? Have more engagement from the students, right? What do you notice about Zuri's hairstyles and her hair, right? It changes sometimes. So you would see different hair. And what about her dad's facial expressions? How is he feeling, right? And then emphasize the emotions, the bond, the frustration, right? And the triumph at the end, right? And highlight the process in which as things are happening inside of our story. What's happening? That it's always changing, right? And then celebrate and point out the diversity. And then this is a good point for you to point out that kids have different hairstyles. So possible questions that you might want to bring up. I'm not going to read this. This is actually more or less questions that you would that you can choose and pick which ones you would like. There's probably way too many questions for you to go through all of them. I'll send everyone the slides just like I usually do. But things are like, think possible questions that you might want to talk about is point out if Zuri's hair is easy to work with, right? And how Zuri's dad, you can at this point you can even ask, does your dad, right? Does your dad help, around the house? Does he help you, the students out get ready in the morning, right? Then we can start to talk at least on a very surface level about what dad does, what mom does, right? And then you can point out and say, do you think dad seems ready, or he seems like he wasn't sure, right? That he wanted to do the hair. Maybe does it seem like this is his first time helping with the hair or not, right? He looked like he was very, very clueless, right? And what are some of the hairstyles and things that he tried? And then more importantly, did he quit, right? Did he persevere? Did he push through? Did he have a growth mindset, right? And rather than give up, he kept trying, right? You can say, if you want, what does Zuri's hair say about her? Tell us about her. What does your hair say about you as a student, right? What does your hair say about you? There are many types of hair. And how does Zuri feel at the end of the book? Does she look happy? Does she look confident? Does she feel love, right, from her dad because her dad didn't give up on her, right? What does the story teach us about loving ourselves and celebrating, right, uniqueness, right? And how can we show kindness to others who might look different from us? Okay. So activity number 1, quickly check the time. Okay. Activity number 1 is an I like me tree. Essentially, I meant to paste a picture. Essentially, it's an activity where you would have a pre-drawn tree and pre-cut leaves, especially for our grade level. So you cut the paper leaves for them, and then if it's going to be a larger size, if you're going to use, there's 2 options. You're going to use the larger size if you're going to use the self-portraits version, but a little smaller if you expect to help the kids write, or if you're planning to draw on the leaf. Okay. You will need a photo of the students. So this will make the leaf a little bit more identifiable to the kids, but it would require a lot more prep. So it's up to you whether or not you want to do that. You might just go with the route where you're going to go with crayons and markers, right? And have them draw or write. Probably draw. At this age, they're more likely to draw, but encourage them to write if they want to, or help them write on their leaf. And then glue sticks if you need if you're going to go with the photos option. You can use stickers, you can use yarn for hair and the portraits, which is awesome. A little bit more work, right? You can use glitter if you are so inclined. Again, it's a little bit more messy, right? And but the point is, have each. Sorry. So yeah, have the pre-cut leaves and the large tree prepped. And then at the beginning of the activity, you would say things like, "Here's Zuri. Remember Zuri from the story. She loves her hair. We talked about how special everyone's hair is. We're going to celebrate with this activity what makes each of us special. You're going to create and decorate your leaf, right? Here's a pre-cut leaf, and then now paste your photo on the leaf, and then around the photo you would write things that you like, that you would feel makes you unique, makes Fong Fong, makes Ryan Ryan, and It makes vibooty, right? Or if you're not doing the photos or you're not gluing the photos onto the leaf, have students draw a picture of themselves on the leaf. It can be something simple. For example, for TKers, it could be a stick figure, simple portrait, just a face, maybe a shirt or their favorite shirt or jacket, right? Or dress. And concentrate on the message, I like me. You can even have them write, I like me, right, on it. For kindergarteners, maybe they should be able to encourage them, right? Encourage them to draw more details, right? If they would like things like have something, draw their own hair, right? Draw their own eyes. We have different eye colors, right? Maybe, and then draw maybe their favorite colored shirt or dress. I'm going to add that to the slide. It's not necessarily sure. Okay, and then decorate with colors, markers, crayons, etc. Glitter, I guess, if you went to the glitter option. Paste or glue after they're done, paste or glue each student's leaf onto the tree, or have them attempt to paste that on the tree, and then you help them afterwards, right? And then explain to them all leaves make the tree beautiful. Okay, and then the second option is a little bit more movement. You don't need music for this one. The idea is you're trying to encourage them to come up with make up a dance, a unique dance, something that they feel that they're expressing themselves. It can be silly, it can be serious, but encourage them to make it their own, right? Emphasize that this is they're trying to express themselves as an individual, right? What makes them special, right? And then not only are they dancing, you're also encouraging them, the rest of the class, to observe, okay? Just like our hair is unique, our bodies can move in unique ways too. So let's show off, right, our special moves. You would tell them. But tell them, especially some TK and kindergartners and children in general, they might feel self-conscious, right? They don't want to do this. There's always going to be some student who is really, really enthusiastic and would like to volunteer. But some are not going to, right? So emphasize there's no right or wrong, right? It's just unique, right? As long as you try something, as long as you do something that it's different from everybody else, that's what we're looking for, right? You can either ask for volunteers and pick out, or you can go down and, if they're in a circle, right, you would go around the circle and ask each student to try. If they would like to skip, allow them the option, give them the option to skip, right? That way you can quickly go through the kids, the students, but make sure everybody has a chance to try or decline, right? And say, no, I would not, not this time, I do not want to dance. You can, as a warm-up, do a stretching, wiggling, stomping warm-up exercise. You can, yourself as a parent, a PC parent, can show off your own unique dance too, right? But after a student does the unique movement with his or her body, it doesn't have to be complicated. It could just be movement of their hands or their feet, right, or their body. The class, this is when you're asking the rest of the class to copy what that student just did, right? And the point is to make sure that you are also mirroring, right, and along with the rest of the class. You're trying to copy the student's unique move. You're trying to tell the student that it's great, that they're being creative, they're being unique, and also make sure you have the rest of the class tell them, like, hey, you guys are doing a great job. You guys copied it exactly how Fong did it, right? His unique move. You guys are, that's great observation skills, right? And I really praise and I'm really happy that you guys are participating, that you're trying, right? And then point out that everybody has a unique move. That's what makes them special, and it makes what makes them, right? And that we should accept that the students should accept that. Okay, and again, try to go through all the, give each student a chance to participate. Okay. The last one, I believe, yep, this is the last one, is something called We Like You ceremony. It's building a positive classroom by having students affirm each other's unique qualities. Okay, so so you would have to bring a small object. I know I say it's written here a rock or a special talking stick, but it can be any object. It could be a favorite object that the student that the teacher uses anyways to or it's something that or it is something that you bring home bring something from home, right? But the idea is whoever's holding the rock or the talking stick now has the floor, right? They're the featured student. Okay, so so you introduce the ceremony. You would say something like, in our book, Zuri learned to love her hair and herself, and now we're going to share what we like and appreciate about each other. Okay, we're going to have a "we like you" ceremony. Okay, so but with the featured student, only one student will be featured at a time. Have the student maybe line the class, have them not line, but have them sit in a circle or a semicircle, and have the featured student sit in the so-called middle of the circle. Pass the rock or the stick or the speaking object to that one student. Explain whoever holds the rock must share a positive thought about the featured student. In other words, the person holding the rock doesn't speak. It's the rest of the class trying to come up with something nice to say about the student holding the object, the featured student. Okay, encourage them to say things like, hold on, let me switch to the next one. Things like something more specific, right? It's like, I like Fong's smile, right? Or I like how Kathy is a great helper, right? She is always helping me, right? She is a kind friend, right? Things more concrete, things like that, right? Have the class share positive qualities. If you don't have any, if there are no students volunteering for this, try to encourage them to have to say or share something. You yourself can say something, right? It's like, I think Ryan is a great friend, right? He's always helping me out. He's always saying hi to me, right, in the morning, right? I love it when I see Ryan, right? I can always depend on him being positive, right? So you would say something about each student so that you make sure that that the student doesn't get at least has some or get some positive feedback, right? Rotate to another student or ask for volunteers, right? Again, because we're rotating through the whole entire class, your class may have between 20 to 25 students. It might take a while. Of course, this is a activity where you don't want to, oops, I'm running out of time. You don't want to skip the student. You want to give every student a chance, right? At least hey guys, let's have at least one or two, if not more, positive, right? Comments, right? And share. So we want to celebrate. This is a ceremony, guys. We want to celebrate how we like your classmate. Yeah, or how much we appreciate your friend. For TKers, keep things positive, very simple. And then if they're only talking about what you call it, external qualities, I like Pong's hair, whatever, however much hair he has left, right? But say things like, he's a kind friend. He's always he's a great friend, and he's always fun, right? Or she's always helping the teacher, like things like that, right? Things are not so superficial. For kindergarteners, yeah, encourage more description, more varied compliments, right? Yeah. So in closing, encourage students to think about what makes them unique, right? We want to make sure that we have to remember after the lesson, you can say, after I leave today, sometime today while you're in the classroom, or maybe when you're in the playground, or when you're out after school on this Friday, right? Try as a student, as a friend, try to think about what makes each of us different. and try to identify what makes us unique, but beautiful and special. Think of something special about you. Maybe it's your smile. Maybe it's a great laugh that you have, and even unique hair, right? But remember to notice and celebrate what makes everybody, your friends, your classmates, your siblings, and the adults around you unique. Okay, and that's it. Do you guys have any questions?
Nope, great job as always.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate the positive comment.
Yeah,
Great.
no
Well,
questions from me. Thank you.
oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I am going to pause or stop sharing, stop the recording. Yeah, thank you very much.